All right, let's talk about one of the biggest challenges in any business. How do you actually turn your big, ambitious strategic plans into reality? Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on P3O, that's Portfolio, Program, and Project Offices, and see how it acts as the engine for making change happen.
But, before we can really appreciate the solution, we've got to get a handle on the problem. And it's a problem that pretty much every single organization runs into. It's what we call the change conundrum.
And it all really boils down to this one question. It's a question that probably keeps a lot of leaders up at night, right? You craft this brilliant strategy, you pour time and money into it. So why is it that so many of these plans just kind of fizzle out and never deliver any real tangible value to the business?
Well, the answer is usually found in this fundamental tension that exists in every company. On one side, you've got the need to run the business. This is just business as usual. The day-to-day stuff that keeps the lights on and the money coming in. But on the other side, you have to change the business. These are all your strategic initiatives, the big projects and programs designed to propel you into the future. And here's the kicker. These two forces are always competing for the exact same people, the same money, and the same attention.
So what happens when you don't have a solid bridge connecting those two worlds? Well, it gets messy. Projects get started in silos, totally disconnected from the actual strategy they're supposed to be supporting. You end up wasting precious resources on stuff that doesn't really matter. And in the end, those critical strategic goals, they just get missed. This is that gap where all the value just leaks out. So, how do we build that bridge? Well, that is exactly where the P3O model comes in. It's a framework designed specifically to connect that high-level strategy with the on-the-ground execution through a really clear structure and support system.
So P3O stands for Portfolio, Program, and Project Offices. Now, the official textbook definition is the decision-enabling and support business model for all business change. But let's be real, a much better way to think about it is like this. It's the air traffic control for all your company's change initiatives. See, it's not about doing more admin work. It's about making absolutely sure the right people are making the right decisions with the right information.
When you get right down to it, a P3O model is there to do three main things. First, it feeds senior management the high-quality information they need to make smart, strategic decisions. Second, it gives the teams on the ground the support they need to deliver their projects correctly. And maybe most importantly, it keeps everyone's eyes on the prize, actually realizing the benefits and outcomes that you wanted in the first place.
Okay, so to really get how P3O works, we need to quickly break down the three different levels of management that it supports. This hierarchy is totally key to understanding how everything fits together. So, at the very top, you have the portfolio. You can think of this as the 30,000-foot view. It is the entirety of your company's investment in change. Every single program, every single project, all rolled up together to help achieve those big overarching strategic goals. Then, if we come down one level, we get to programs. A program is basically a temporary setup that's created to manage a whole bunch of related projects. So, for example, a digital transformation program could have separate projects for a new website, a new CRM system, and a big employee training push. It's all about coordinating these related efforts to get to a much bigger business outcome.
And finally, we land at the project level. This is where the rubber meets the road, the tactical work. A project is set up to deliver one specific thing, like that new CRM system we just talked about. It's got a clear start, a clear finish, and a solid business case. These are the real building blocks of change. Now, if you want to remember the difference between these levels, this quote sums it up perfectly. At the portfolio level, the main question is, are we doing the right things? Is this where we should be investing our money? But down at the program and project levels, the question changes to, are we doing things right? Are we executing well? One is all about strategy, the other is all about delivery.
So we've got the concepts, but how does this all come together into an actual structure inside an organization? Well, the most important thing to get is that P3O isn't just one single office. It's a super flexible model that you can shape to fit your company's needs.
And I really have to stress this. There is no one-size-fits-all approach. The P3O model that works for a small, scrappy tech startup is going to look completely different from the one at a massive global bank. It absolutely has to be tailored to your organization's size, its culture, and how mature your processes are.
Now, a really critical distinction within the P3O model is the lifespan of the offices. A portfolio office is usually a permanent fixture. It's a strategic, long-term function that's tied into the yearly financial cycle, and it's all about making those big investment decisions. Program and project offices, on the other hand, are temporary. You spin them up to support a specific initiative, and they are laser-focused on getting that one thing delivered correctly.
These permanent parts of your P3O create a stable foundation for all of your change initiatives. This might be one single portfolio office that looks after the entire company, or you could have smaller hub offices for different departments. And usually it includes a permanent center of excellence, a COE, which is responsible for defining the standards, the processes, and the tools that all projects across the company are going to use. And that's where these temporary offices come into play. See, when a huge new program kicks off, you can spin up a dedicated office just to support it. But here's the crucial part. Those temporary offices don't just go off and make up their own rules. They have to use the standards and tools provided by that permanent center of excellence. And that's how you get consistency and quality across the entire organization.
Okay, so we've got the structure in place, but how does it actually deliver value? Let's follow the data and see how this setup really leads to better, smarter decisions.
What the P3O really does is create a single source of truth for the entire organization. Here's how it works. Data gets captured one time right at the source by the project teams doing the work. That information then flows upwards through the P3O structure, and it gets consolidated and summarized at each level. This means a project manager sees the nitty-gritty daily details, while the C-suite gets a high-level strategic summary. Everybody gets the exact information they need, no more, no less, to make the right call.
And this right here is why all of this matters so much. The payoff from a well-run P3O is huge. It stops different teams from fighting over the same people and the same budget. It can spot big risks that no single project manager would ever be able to see. It makes sure you're actually investing in the right changes, not just the ones with the loudest champion. And ultimately, it helps you manage the pace of change so the business can actually absorb it without grinding to a halt.
So, we'll leave you with this question to take back to your own teams. Think about your organization's biggest, most ambitious goals for the next few years. Now ask yourself honestly, do we actually have the right support structure in place to make those ambitions a reality? Because the P3O model might just hold the key.